And welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday morning, everyone. Hopefully you've had a wonderful weekend full of delightful endeavors, if you will, and you're primed and recharged and ready to go for the week. We are here to give you some swugga love, if you will. Particularly Ram over here. He loves giving some love out. Ram, how's it going, man? Happy Monday, sir. How's it going, sir?
I'm like Ted. I have a lot of love to give.
Yeah, guys.
No, I'm doing all right. Minus the obvious, still packing, still getting ready to move. Countdown is about 2 weeks from now. So, got my house all lined up in the new place. As long as Ed doesn't come over there and raid it and try to make his dungeon home again.
It's gonna happen. You might as well, you got to call ADT right now before you even move down there. Get ATD installed and just be ready for him.
Oh God.
Guys, you know the routine. Getting off topic here, but you know the routine, everybody. This is part 2 of a 2-part series of videos, guys. Part 1 is found over on Ram's channel. You guys can find the link for that down in the video description. You guys know the routine. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, you guys need to stop what you're doing, push pause, go down, click that link, get over there, watch his stuff, then come back here for part 2 so you don't miss any of the important amazingness that is Ram Raging, guys. You need to get over there ASAP. Now that that's all done, you guys are all ready to roll and everything's back and comfy cozy here, guys. Let's get into our first topic, guys. So our first topic today is probably one that people aren't aware of in Swugga, because I don't think there's a ton of crossover here between the two games. There is some. I know there is some. So my guild is an example, guys. My guild has both a Swugga game community and they also have a Heroes of Middle-earth game community. Heroes of Middle-earth, for those of you who don't know, is a game created by CG, Capital Games, the creator of Swugga. There's been a big issue with Heroes of Middle-earth. Shout out to one of our longtime patrons over on Twitch, guys, Swag. He's a content creator for Home. He put out a video. I had no idea until I just happened upon this and watched it. And I was like, holy cow. Talking about the potential death of Heroes of Middle-earth. And as a result, potentially CG as well. So here's the TLDR, guys. So Home, CG specifically, has not put out any kind of updates, real updates, like actual content updates, since December 6th. It has been more than 2 months that they have put out zero updates, zero communications. And so the speculation right now is, one, is that game dead? And then 2, is CG going under as well? Like, is it a bigger issue that's going to apply to CG as a whole? And I know a lot of you are like, I don't care about Home. What's that matter to me? Well, the fact of the matter is, guys, CG is the creator of Swugga and maintains the game of Swugga. And if CG is going under, that's going to have an effect on us. So first and foremost, Ram, my question for you, sir, is what do you think the health of Swugga as a whole is right now? And 2, do you see that having an effect on CG, or do you think there's any kind of an issue with CG as a whole right now that could affect us?
Oh, okay. So let me break this down. Swiggo as a game is not in any danger. I don't know about the developer. We'll get in that in a second, but the game is not in any danger. The game is still making bukus of money. It's still, I want to say last I saw was like a top 8, top 10 game, grossing game on the Play Store. Obviously Clash of Clans and other games are a little bit higher, but Swiggo is still making massive amounts of money, and that's not going to slow down anytime soon. It's still massively successful. It's one of the most successful Star Wars games of all time.
Right.
That's not gonna change. As long as there's ways to whale. We talked about it a little bit in our video. There's still going to be people that's going to whale. So I don't see the health of the game really declining as far as that. But it's interesting that you bring out that the community is dying, because so you say that they haven't had an update or any communication since December 6th.
Correct.
Well,
other than just like a bug fix, they've done a bug fix, and even that was December 14th.
Right.
Zero of anything from the 14th on. Like that, it's really bad.
we went what, about a month and a half with almost no communication, and then obviously brought out an update, I think, on like January 17th, with like the comeuppance of whatever ship that is. No one knows, no one cares. But anyways, CG has always not really had a good communication team.
Right.
Could they possibly be having troubles? That's definitely a possibility. I don't know.
Right.
I see Meathead here and there, and I haven't heard from Crumb in a long time.
Yeah.
But it's possible that they could be having some rumblings. What that could mean for Swigo if CG does happen to go under, get bought out, whatever the case is, Swigo I think would still stay. However, what would happen is, and I don't know for sure, so you guys can correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I want to say Marvel Strike Force a long time ago had this kind of same thing where they had a company originally running it, and then they got bought out. And now there's a new company running it, and people like or don't like the. Like I said, I don't play Marvel Strike Force, so I can't speak too much on it. But there is a different company running it, as far as I'm understanding. That essentially, I'd say, would be the same thing that would happen to Swigo. Is
Right.
You would just, instead of CG, you'd have whatever X number company running it and implementing whatever they see fit to, obviously EA is still going to be the overlord in charge of it. I don't know, man. I don't know if CG's having problems like that.
I think in terms of the first kind of question with that, with the health of Swugga as a whole, you brought up a great point with that. They're still making money hands over fist. I think they're top 5. They've been top 5 in mobile games for quite a while, especially with the hero collector type thing. So I don't think there's any worry about the game itself. And even if CG were to go under or get bought out or anything like that, I don't think that there's necessarily a worry for the game, because any business that's coming in and taking over is going to be like, hey, this is making us a ton of money, we should get rid of it. No, that's not going to happen. But I do think what it does tell us a little bit here, guys. So we've talked about it here on Rogue Actions the past couple of weeks. Where is the communication? Like, where is CG at? Why aren't they releasing any kind of information? Where is all this stuff? I think this is something that, if you read into it, could possibly explain that. So, for example, if Heroes of Middle-earth is dying and is getting cut and canceled and dead, that's a huge chunk of CG's development team that is now being reorganized and replaced and moved elsewhere. And if that is happening, that's going to have a huge impact on CG's ability to kind of put information out and put, development news out and things like that, because they're sorting through all that internal issues and everything. Plus, there's the holidays itself that, put a little bit of a delay in that kind of thing as well. So I think that I don't necessarily think that CG is in any danger, and certainly I don't think it's going to have an effect on Swugga as a whole, but I think it explains a little bit of why potentially we're seeing such a small amount of communication in Swugga. I think there is some reshuffling at minimum in CG right now. Whether home is dying, whether that is happening or not, I don't think anybody knows, to be honest with you. But I do think there's some internal shifting happening that is resulting in there being less communication because of that. I don't know. Ram, any final thoughts on that, sir?
No, I mean, I think we both kind of hit the nail on the head there. The game's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The company might change, or at least what's happening in Lord of the Rings may explain why CG doesn't talk to us nearly as much as they used to.
Right.
On top of the holidays has always been a factor.
Yes.
Every year they go through like a month and a half or so of no communication, no bug fixes, no nothing, because they're people just like everybody else. Right. They take holidays, they spend time with their families and whatnot. They travel. So,
yeah, it's something
you can't fault them for that.
Yeah, it's something that's important to remember. I think that there is real life stuff going on as well. I mean, so not only with the holidays with them, but also like with us as content creators. If I've got something going on in real life that keeps me from being able to stream, that doesn't necessarily mean that the health of me as a content creator, or I should say that not my health, but the health of the content creation is necessarily going downhill. It's just you got a real life bump in the road kind of thing. And I think that's kind of the best way to look at this, is it might just be a bump in the road for CG. And I think overall they're fine. I think it'll be fine. But just a bump on the road, hopefully. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think that, one, the health of the game is solid? Do you think that CG is just going through a little bit of a bump right now? Or do you think, this is a bigger issue and that really CG needs to get on top of the communication and be more proactive, even if they are going through internal issues? Communication is always key to any relationship, so to speak. So I could certainly see your guys' point if you think that's the case. But moving on to a more, I don't want to say more positive necessarily, because that wasn't necessarily a negative topic, but less speculative and just more fun. We'll say a more fun topic, guys. And that is faction action. So a lot of times we do kind of deep dives into teams that we like, or passion projects that we have, things like that. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite factions. And we're going to talk a little bit about why they are our favorite factions, and why they might be worth looking into for you if you either A, don't have them, or B, have them and you just want to put a little bit more investment into them. So with that being said, Ram, I'm going to go ahead and let you give us your thoughts first on A, what your favorite faction is that's out there, and then B, why you love that faction so much. What are you thinking, sir?
M-Troopers, Imperial Troopers.
Ooh, I like it.
Might of the Empire. It's just, God, this is a faction that I've always kind of enjoyed, and I wanted to gear up my M-Troopers to Gear 12, Gear 13 relics when all the changes started happening. But with the inclusion of people like Iden, Piet, Dark Trooper, and Scout Trooper, it's really changed the entire faction for the betterment of the faction, in my opinion. Specifically with Dark Trooper and Piet, it's just those two work so well together. Dark Trooper is hands down still one of my top 3 favorite releases, I'd say, of all time in this game. Just because of what he does for the faction, what he allows you to do. Hands down, easy take up to Relic 7, Relic 8. The power that he puts out, able to take out Darth Revan teams with relative ease as long as you outspeed them, which is a simple, small check. He allows the M-Trooper team to punch up drastically. You can take out Lord Vader's, solo Lord Vader's. If you need to clean up Lord Vader, you can take an M-Trooper team and do that. You can take out, I've seen it done against Rey. Take out Rey with him. It's just he's so good, and nothing gets me just harder for seeing Dark Trooper just punch and just obliterate somebody. It's just, oh god, he's just so good. And then Iden and Scout Trooper, what Iden and Scout Trooper are able to accomplish.
Oh yeah.
With the Iden with the Imperial Trooper team that she creates, just leftover troopers, and she's able to do some nasty work on offense with them. It's just, you cannot go wrong with investing in this faction if you want some heavy offensive teams, and they're relatively easy to gear. You slap some speed on them on a couple characters in each team, and that's all you really need. The rest of it is just the mechanics and the way the kits work together in tandem are all just gonna work for you, and you don't really have to. Honestly, it's a stupid person's dream come true. Press buttons and win, and that's about all you have to do. If I could figure it out, you can figure it out.
That's a good point. As long as you got your speed, you're golden. I think there are 2 things I love about this faction in particular. One, they're super relevant right now. With the raid, with Iden's ship in particular. Like, they're just a very, very, very relevant faction at the time. So much so that, so I actually, in terms of my personal account, I've farmed 5 GLs, whether they are ships or characters, in a row now, and I needed a break. And they're one of my points of emphasis. I'm not taking necessarily all of them to, R7 or something like that, but I did want to get, the core 2 teams in particular up to at least Relic 3, so I could really have some real viability in using them, just because they're so good right now across the board in the game. But the other thing I love about this faction, you talked about how they just come out and just obliterate the opponent. I love how lore accurate that feels. It's a team that just overpowers the opponent. And I love that about them. Like, if you're able to counter them and, kind of like an Adrad, pull a trap on them and daze them, things like that, then yeah, they're super susceptible to losing, which I think is very accurate to, again, the lore. Like, they come out and they just dominate you with fear, with pure force. And I mean, fear to some degree too, obviously. But I just think that's such a cool aspect. You've talked about it before. You love it when they can make those lore connections with the character releases and stuff in the kits. I just think it's a really cool thing. I don't know. That's a really good suggestion, man. Very, very solid suggestion. For me, so I love the Troopers. I would be very, very tempted to choose them, but for me, I think I'm going to go kind of the opposite route. You picked a fairly small, focused faction. For me, I'm going to pick a very, very large faction for reasons. For me, that faction is Scoundrels. Like, okay. I just love the Scoundrels. And to be clear, guys, so the Scoundrels have gotten a lot of love of late. So with, like, for instance, Jabba coming out, there was a huge upgrade to that faction as a whole because of Jabba coming out. Kat, when she was dropped, obviously upgraded this faction a good bit as well. But they were my favorite faction before any of that happened. And here's the main reason why. I love the versatility that this faction brings to the game. And it harkens back to, so as I mentioned, before Jabba, before Kat, before GLs came out in particular, is when I really, really, really love this faction. And they were far and away my number one faction in the game because of that versatility. This is going to shock a lot of you, but I used to love 3v3 before GLs came out because it really was about, theory crafting. It was all about theory crafting at that point in the game and coming up with these really neat factions and coming up with different ways to beat these different factions and everything. And I just loved it. I would almost get as excited about it as Russ does for the current 3v3s. I don't know why he likes current ones, but I love the old ones. I thought it was so much better in the game. For the guys who don't know, Russ Cooks is who I'm referring to. But
if you smell what the Russ is cooking,
yeah. But I just love the flexibility of this faction, that they can go so many different ways and do so many different things. I just think it's a really cool faction across the board. Plus, it was for a long time anti-meta, which I've always loved anti-meta stuff, or counter-meta, if you want to say that like that. So, what do you think, Ram? Do you think this is a good choice, or am I off my rocker? What are you thinking, man?
No, the Scoundrels is hands down is a very good choice as well. You've got every bounty hunter is essentially in that faction, so you're creating 2 or 3 teams right there, just inside that. Then you obviously have fan favorites like Han and Chewie. You have Kat. You have particular Scoundrels, Vet Han, Vet Chewie, things like that are in there as well. So it's a wide variety of things. Some of them are required for other things. Some of them are just standalone in that faction. But Scoundrels have gotten a lot of love lately to be able to do some cool things within the game. So I guess if you wanted to focus. If you wanted to focus, obviously M Troopers is a good option. If you wanted just to kind of broaden your horizon and take things that are both light side and dark side and just be able to have 1 or 2 good characters for a variety of teams across all teams, Scoundrels is a very good faction for that, because you have Galactic Republic mixed in there, you have Bounty Hunters, you have Empire, you have Rebels, you have Resistance. You got so many different types of characters that fit into a variety of different teams out there. So it can only benefit your roster for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about, the focus that you want to take as an account. That's a really, really good point. Like I would imagine early game probably would want to focus more on like Troopers, just because it gives you that one solid team. But I think if you're mid game, probably Scoundrels. Like imagine like having Kat. She could just go in so many different teams, no matter where your roster is, that she's going to be super great for you, no matter where. I just thought that was an interesting point. I haven't thought about it from like a early game, beginning game, late game type approach that you had mentioned there. Guys, let us know in comments, everybody, what is your favorite faction? And B, why do you love that faction so much? Do you guys think that a narrow faction approach, like kind of Ram took with the troopers, is best, or do you just love, you want it all, and you just want a real broad faction like the Scoundrels, or maybe even the Rebels, even though they're not really broad, but there's a heck of a lot of them. Let us know in comments, guys, what your favorite faction is and why. Love to hear it from you guys. Before we move on to our final topic, guys, so Ram mentioned over in his video, guys, we are officially applying for tier 1 of monetization here on the channel. If you guys like what you have seen thus far and you want to continue getting more of this content, make sure you guys go down, you like, and more importantly, subscribe to the channel, guys, because we are only 250 subs away from getting completely fully monetized, guys. So get over there, check it out, like it, subscribe it, and turn on the notifications, guys, so that we can get all the way up there. Appreciate it so much, guys. Appreciate it. Now, with that being said, Ram, we're going to go ahead and pivot over to our final topic here, which is the Master of Memes. For those of you guys that don't know, we do a Master of Memes competition over on Twitch on our live streams on Fridays. We then vote for the best meme of the two over on Twitch, and then we announce it there with a shout out. We announce it on Discord with a shout out, and then we, of course, announce it here as well. So let's check out our two Master of Meme opponents for this week, shall we? We've got Raid Officers. Great job. We're going to attempt to 424 mil into a raid crate. Swugga Guild members. We can get 424 on auto, right? Raid Officers crunching numbers. Well, we still auto, right? Versus, Ram, I feel like that one really hits home for you. Versus, oh God, I have to do another impersonation, guys. Get ready.
I can't wait for this.
Another impersonation. Here we go. Misa can bring a Yosa in warm, or Misa can bring a Yosa in big doo-doo. The Gungalorian.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in.
That's what she said. Anyway, so we've got two memes, guys. One of them probably hits home real hard, which I'm going to let Ram talk about here, because I'm sure that he absolutely can relate to the first one. I know I could at first, too.
Oh, wow.
I'll talk more about that in a second. And then we've got another one that I think is just me making a fool of myself that people probably love as well. So, Ram, which of these two do you like best, and why does it speak to you, sir?
So really, what you should be asking is, why do you like the first one, and why does it speak to you? It absolutely hands down the first one, because oh my God, this is perfect. Did RDCD write this one? Did he submit this meme? Please tell me he submitted this meme.
I can't tell you
because okay, this has him all over it, in my opinion. This is directly him calling me out. I feel like I have historically autoed on all the raids. I don't participate. I just do the bare minimum because I hate the raids so much. It's just, oh God, it's horrible. And then I sat down with him and he was like, hey, look, the guild's really trying to push for the raid. We're trying to push for the raid crate, and you could get like 5 mil more than what you're getting. Can you try? And I was like, well, all right, I'll sit down with you. We'll try it. And I've slowly started to get a little bit better over time and get better points than I normally would. However, it's just a pain in the ass, and I want to auto. So I got to go the first one.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I actually had the same thoughts on this first one, because I used to just auto it all the time too, thinking there was no difference. And then our raid officer, shout out to B-Cubed, put out like this really informative guide on how to basically just either wiggle your butt or do a basic. And it gets you a far higher score, and it's super easy.
Oh, jam.
Yeah. So,
you know that middle button that they have in the game for some reason? Don't use it.
Yeah, just don't use jam, guys. No jam. Jam's no good.
Jammy sucks.
Yeah. Sorry, Jam. But like it does kind of speak to me, because when I first was told about this method, I flat out refused. I was like, no, I am still autoing. I am not changing. No. But I did discover it was easier. So I totally relate to it. It does hit home. But I thought my impersonation was absolutely amazing. I thought it was on point. It was almost as good as my Emperor Palpatine impersonation. Let's be honest, guys.
I did love your impersonation, though. It was a really good one.
Thank you. Yeah, so I got to go the Gungalorian. And Ram, you're going with the first one, yeah?
I'm going with the first one.
All right, well, let's see what the vote came out to, guys. The winner was... everyone hates the Raid, guys. The winner was the Raid. The auto on Raid, 424 auto, guys. Shout out to none other than Desecrim. Desecrim was the one that submitted this for this meme. And this was actually a custom made one. This was not one that he found somewhere and submitted. He custom made this one. So yeah, Ram, I feel like this was made just for you, bud.
Like honestly, why did he not just like, instead of the whole Anakin crunching numbers thing, why didn't he just like put my name in there? You knew what you were doing, RDCD. You knew that you were gonna put this out of Rogue Actions. You knew it. Just come on.
Guys, if you like today's meme, one, give a thumbs up and let us know that you liked it. But two, if you've got memes that you think are better than this or could win a Master of Memes competition, head over to Discord, guys. You can put your meme over in our Master of Memes channel on Discord, and then we will add you guys to the list. Like I said, we shout you out both on Twitch on the live stream, over on Discord, and then, of course, we shout you out here as well. Congratulations, Desecrim, on your win. It's always good when you can make fun of Ram. It's pretty much a surefire win. So, guys, last but not least, before we wrap it up, I mentioned earlier, if you like today's video, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Make sure you have gotten over and checked out Ram's video as well, guys. You should have done that already. We already told you to do that, but in case you're, a little slow on the uptake, make sure you get over there, guys. Check out that video, and we will see you next time. Ram, any final words before we part?
I hate you, RDCD.
Guys, if you want to continue your Swugga journey, make sure you check out the next video.